Guess who's biz back?
Wait a minute, guess who's biz back? It's all the way live with Brother Ron. Welcome to Brother Ron. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. This is your brother, Brother Ron, coming with the word. What you heard from Brother Heard. What's the word from Brother Heard? This is your guy. This is Brother Ron. Hope all is well with you all. Y'all not only just surviving the times, but you also thriving in the times. And it's an honor to be back on. Like I have made a commitment. I am the feeder. So when I feed me, I'm gonna feed all y'all. Feed me, feed me, feed me. Thank you so much. We've got a lot to talk about. There's so much to talk about. We'll pick what we want to talk about. How about that? EIEIO. And also I want to do a make a correction on something because I know I'm like, I'm a black man in America, and you must question anything a black man say or does because that's the rule. That's the Dred Scott rule. You can never believe what a black man got to say or believe that he stand on anything, that he's worth anything in America. But I want to just talk about. I talked about a little bit about the desk that Donald Trump utilized in the White House. Is known as the Resolute desk, as he utilized it in the Oval Office. And I got very passionate about stuff. Got a little bit of the history off, not that much. Just a touch of the little history off. And they always changing the history, of course. But I want to show the history of the Resolute desk. I think it's very important because we all be in it to win it. And I definitely want to kick it. I think it's important to hear alternative voices on these so-called alternative spaces, and that we got to fight harder than ever because I mean, right now, traditional black media ain't getting it done. Like I'm in the blackest city in the United States of America, it was known as Memphis, Tennessee, and it's not getting it done, y'all. Like we're not. No disrespect to anybody that's working hard, but we're not getting the job done. The job is not getting done. Let's see. So this is why I said I'm gonna commit myself to come on the air and being more consistent because we need more consistent and committed voices right now. We are at a time of the great discernment, not the great deceit, but it's the great discernment. Whatever you feel is happening, is happening. Whatever you think, you got that feeling. It might not be a happy feeling. It might be another feeling. Might be a strange feeling, might be a feeling of a dread. Whatever you feeling right now in this space, you claim it, you own it, and you over enter and understand it. And know that what we gotta get back in tune with ourselves. I said get out of tune to get in tune with yourself. We got to start doing that. Like I have committed myself to doing walks in the park and stuff like that. And I got back on my 10,000 step a day routine, 10,000, 15,000 steps a day. Had a little setback a couple weeks ago. Cleared it up. Thank to Universal God and Sister Theo Bowman and probably Emmett Lewis Till and maybe even Al Capone. And I'll talk about that maybe in a like how did Al Capone or Emmett Lewis Till or Sister Theo Bowman or even Ida B. Wells Barnett and the Universal God help a brother out? Well, I'm gonna talk about my testimony. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on that people will consider supernatural, paranormal. It's the new normal. The paranormal, the supernatural is the new normalcy that we find ourselves in. Like you look at what happened to President Trump yesterday, second assassination attempt in 2 months. You know, I believe that God sent Trump on this mission and that he's not going to leave this planet until the mission has been accomplished. We're living in a time of great discernment of spiritual warfare. People get ready, get your mind, body, and soul right because we are on for the fight, fight, fight. Let's get it on. Let's get it on, baby, baby. But just freestyling out my dizone. Now I ain't sipping no scissor. You feel me? We're just gonna move it along. Happy feelings in the air. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Happy feelings. Yeah. Happy feelings. But yeah, I want to talk about the Resolute desk. I'll talk about the desk that Donald Trump used in the Oval Office, the Resolute desk. I want to make sure I said it straight because I got very impassioned yesterday in my oratory, and that tends to happen. So I'm not trying to disinfo or misinfo anybody. I just caught up in the spirit in the Trumpgeist. I call it the Trumpgeist, the spirit of the times. So let's talk about this Resolute desk, what they got in the Oval Office, or I think Joe Biden may be using it, but it's an interesting history. Let me see. Feel that happy feeling. Okay, that's Ronald Reagan, Saint Reagan, Georgia Brown, Saint Reagan. Well, get my barbecue sauce, all that. But anyway, this is the desk I was talking about, the Resolute desk that sometimes occupies the Oval Office, and has been there since the 19th century. Actually, I mentioned that Abraham Lincoln sat at the desk. That's not true. He was already in the ground or in his mausoleum or whatever. He was dead. They say he was dead, dead, dead. By the time that desk came around, it actually came around during the Hayes administration. It was a gift. And I want to talk a little bit about the Resolute desk. Let's see. The Resolute desk, also known as the Hayes desk, is a 19th century partners desk used by several presidents of the United States in the White House as the Oval Office desk, including the 5 most recent presidents. The desk was a gift from Queen Victoria to President Rutherford B. Hayes in 1880. Lincoln was taken out of here in 1865. My bad, man. But the other cats I mentioned, the other presidents did utilize this desk, okay? And was built from the oak timbers. Like I said, it was a gift from Queen Victoria to President Rutherford B. Hayes in 1880, and was built from oak timbers of the British Arctic exploration ship, the HMS Resolute. The 1,300-pound desk was created by William Evenden, a skilled joiner at the Chatham Dockyard in Kent, probably from a design by Morant, Boyd, and Blandford. The desk has been modified twice with a knee hole panel added in 1945 and a 2-inch tall plinth added to the desk in 61. This is the desk where JFK was sitting at. President JFK, his son John was in the middle where you see that eagle carved out. He was like it could, I guess, slide open. He was right there in that middle. The iconic photo of him and with his son in the Oval Office. And let me see. So the HMS Resolute was abandoned in the Arctic while searching for Sir John Franklin and his lost expedition. The ship was found in 1855 by George Henry, an American whaling ship, repaired and returned to the United Kingdom as a gesture of goodwill from the United States. The ship was decommissioned in 1879, broken up, and had 3 desks constructed from its timbers. Queen Victoria sent one of these desks to American President Rutherford B. Hayes. The Resolute desk was received at the White House on November 23rd, 1880, and was used in the president's office and president's study until the White House reconstruction from 1948 to 1952. See, that was when Truman was in the office. Yeah, but Harry Truman got in the office in 45 after the death of Franklin Roosevelt, of course. After the Reconstruction, it was placed in the broadcast room where Dwight D. Eisenhower used it during radio and television broadcasts. Jacqueline Kennedy rediscovered the desk and had it brought to the Oval Office in 61. The desk was removed from the White House after the assassination of John Kennedy and went on a traveling exhibition with artifacts of the Kennedy Presidential Library. President Jimmy Carter brought the desk back to the White House in 77, where it has remained since. Many replicas have been made of the Resolute desk. The first was commissioned in 78 for a permanent display at the JFK Presidential Library in Boston, Massachusetts, and since then, 5 other presidential libraries and many museums. Libraries, tourist attractions, and private homes and offices have acquired copies of the desk. Okay, so Jackie O brought it back into the Oval Office. Kennedy sat at the desk. He got killed. They got taken out the Oval Office, out the White House, whatever. Jimmy Carter had it. There was an assassination attempt or two on President Carter. By the way, Jimmy Carter got his birthday coming up. He got his 100th birthday coming up on October 1st. So hopefully Jimmy Carter could make it to 100 years old. That'll be amazing to celebrate. I had a chance to meet Jimmy Carter down in Georgia. Met him down in Georgia with his wife Rosalind, who just passed away. But Jimmy Carter, if he could make it to October 1st, will be officially 100 years young. The oldest president. I mean, to make it to 100. Wow. Jimmy Carter, October 1st, 1924. He's still ticking. About 10 years or so, they had Jimmy Carter was going to die. He was dying from this inoperable, a rare form of brain cancer, allegedly. And it's around this time me and my mom went to see him down in Plains, Georgia, his hometown, to teach Sunday school. This was back in September of 2015. And you couldn't tell he was sick. He was in great spirits and stuff like that. And what was interesting, I think the cancer went into remission. They call it remission. And his grandson, I believe, ended up dying that holiday season, which is interesting. His grandson died of some type of unexpected health issue. I think, they didn't know he had this health issue. And he died. And he was quite young in comparison to Jimmy Carter, who was in his 90s at the time. But people always counting out Jimmy Carter. He's always the underdog, it seems. But some type of way he has a way of coming through. But this is Ronald Reagan, who also had an assassination attempt back in the early 80s, right? 81? Was it an assassination in 81? He's sitting at the desk. So you had several presidents who have set themselves at that desk in the Oval Office that had encountered assassination attempts, with the most recent person being, of course, Donald John Trump, 2 times in 2 months. So thank you, Ray 1391. Peace, God. Thank you for all you do. And likewise for yourself, please share this. We're in the process of rebuilding the platform. YT has made it their business to undermine the original We All Be TV channel. So we got 2 options now. If you want to stay on YT Plantation, you can catch us on this channel. This is We All Be TV 2. And let's see. This post up rumble.com, We All Be TV. That's the woke YT. Rumble is what YouTube used to be. So when we on Rumble, freedom of speech is more respected on Rumble than it is on YouTube or YT. So we over there. Subscribe, rumble.com, We All Be TV. We got over 100 subscribers. Let's get it to 1,000, right? That's great. Thank y'all for y'all support. And also, you want to stay on YT Plantation? Subscribe to youtube.com/We All Be TV 2. And we've been very strategic with what we post over there as well. We more curated the things on the YT Plantation than on rumble.com. And then we have some other options because we got to get the information out there. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the currency of the universe. And I just got a chance to listen to Donald Trump do an interview on X, formerly known as Twitter. And he was talking about cryptocurrency. And the fact that he can engage with crypto people, like these crypto investors and entrepreneurs, and he can engage with them at an intellectual level that I doubt that Kamala Harris can fake. She might need to use her special Timu rings, or Timu earrings, or Nova, whatever. The Tiffany, y'all say it's Tiffany. Some people say it's Timu. Some people say they Nova. But I don't think she could hang with the crypto people and talk on their level, because Trump is not only talking on their level, he's actually an investor in cryptocurrency. Cause he rolled out some MFT stuff that was very successful, that sold out within a matter of hours not too long ago. Trump is a marketing genius. He understands business and economics, and he's the right person for this, for the right time. This is the Trump guys. This is the spirit of Trump, and I embrace that wholeheartedly, wholeheartedly. And Kamala is an intellectual lightweight when it comes to Trump. You can call Trump a narcissist, a megalomaniac. If you want to be president, you got to have a little bit of narcissism. You got to have a little bit of megalomania. You got to be touched a little bit, because to want to be president, that's a weird job. That's a job that a lot of people can't handle. People can't handle taking out the garbage. People can't handle leaving the toilet seat down. A lot of people can't handle simple stuff, but Jimmy Carter lived to be 100 years old, and he got to have some of the best health care, to live that long. George H.W. Bush died in his 90s in his sleep, right? He told me the presidents are they take very good care of presidents. Because they go through a lot of stuff they got to go through that a lot of us can't appreciate. And Donald Trump, this is like 24 hours after being, what is it? Yeah, it's like 24 plus hours after being shot at again. This man is on X, on his good buddy Elon Musk X social media platform, talking about cryptocurrency, talking about the fact that his grandchildren are really like crystal children. Like they're like these like people talking about crystal. Dick Gregory used to talk about indigo children and crystal children. Donald Trump's his daughter Ivanka's kids, his grandkids, they can speak fluent Chinese. 10-year-old grandchild can speak fluent Chinese and impress the president of China. He said he actually held a conversation with Donald Trump's granddaughter in Chinese. And Donald Trump said he asked the president of China, how did she do? He said she is just as fluent as any 10-year-old kid in Beijing. He said she's just as fluent as a Chinese child in China with the Chinese language. And he said the reason why that is because their nana is Chinese. She's from China. So the people that raised Trump's grandchild and grandchildren as it go through his daughter Ivanka, they learn Chinese. They're fluent in Chinese. They learn it young. And when I tell people all the time, and people got to understand, like if I ever go back to teaching school, I would rather deal with elementary kids, not middle school, not high school. But when you are a child, your mind is more open. It's not closed out. Hopefully, the powers that think they be did not kill your intellectual curiosity. So your mind is like a sponge. You could pick up things quicker, like languages, whatever. Baba Dick Gregory will always tell parents. He told me he always tell parents, when your kid is born, start making a way for them to learn how to play an instrument. Teach them how to play. Get people to show them how to play certain instruments, a music instrument. The reason why he said that, because if your child could play an instrument, then they could get a scholarship somewhere. They could possibly get a music scholarship somewhere. And they don't have to necessarily become professional musicians, but that could be a way for them to get a college education with little debt. That's something he told me. And I had a friend, Donna Jag, and I've been blessed to befriend some brilliant elder black men, very accomplished black men who were really frustrated geniuses because they were true humanitarians, but they look at the system was conspiring to undermine the upliftment of their people, but they had to work within the framework, or they chose to work within the framework of the said system that makes it its duty to kill intellectual curiosity in people, that make people dumb down so they can be easily to be manipulated and controlled. My great friend, the late great Emerson Abel Jr., who's a legendary band director in Memphis, as well, he was a college band director. Matter of fact, he is the co-founder of the very successful and legendary Southern Heritage Classic football game. First, like, a lot of times it was Jackson State versus Tennessee State, but Mr. Abel was an alum of Tennessee State University. He went to Tennessee State University on a swimming scholarship. He had a full ride. He swam like a tadpole. He was a little short man. He had a Napoleon complex, but he was a brilliant, true Renaissance man. So he used his connects in college, especially Tennessee State, Jackson State, because he was a college band director at one point. And he was, like I said, a Renaissance man. He designed the original logo for the Southern Heritage Classic, right? And he came up with all this stuff in his living room. The guy who gets a lot of credit for the Southern Heritage Classic, I believe, is Fred Jones, who used to also work at Stacks. Mr. Abel used to work at Stacks. Matter of fact, when he was the band director at Manassas High School, he kicked Isaac Hayes, yes, the Isaac Hayes, Black Moses, out of the high school band, but ended up working for Isaac Hayes at Stacks. He loved him some Isaac Hayes. He loved Isaac, and ended up working for him, helping him out with his music and stuff like that. But anyway, I thought about the things he was able to do when he had his homegoing back in, I want to say it was like either late June or July. It was the summer of 2015. He had his homegoing celebration at Mississippi Boulevard Church. He had a lot of students from the past that he taught came out and saluted Mr. Abel. A lot of these used to be young people were in his high school classrooms at Manassas and Westwood, and they talked about how he was cantankerous, but he really cared about the students, and how a lot of them got full rides to go to school based on music. They got music scholarships. A lot of them did not go into music. They went into some education, business, finance, whatever. But a lot of these kids end up being very successful because Mr. Abel taught them how to play instruments, and he made sure they got full rides to go to great colleges. So, when I'm thinking about stuff like that, and what Donald Trump said about his grandchildren being fluent in Chinese, Donald Trump is the right person for the job right now for the country, because Joe Biden, they anti-intellectual. Is an anti-intellectualism. It's like we got social media, but social media is asocial. The way that we're being programmed is it's interesting. If you think about what happened with Trump recently and the people who were the lone gunmen, they weren't the lone gunmen. They were sent by somebody. If you look at the recent fellow, his name actually sounds like Dylan Roof. The way you pronounce his name, it reminds you of Dylan Roof. You know, this alleged gunman would be assassin of Donald Trump. He's from North Carolina. They caught Dylan Roof, the guy who shot up the 9 black people doing Bible study at Mother Emmanuel in Charleston. They caught him in Shelby, North Carolina, which was the birth home of Thomas Dixon, the man who used to be a college classmate of future President Woodrow Wilson, who also was a prominent, well-known evangelist in America. He was a well-known, kind of like a Joel Osteen of his day, had a large following back at the turn of the 20th century, and he was the author of the book The Klansman, which was the foundation for the movie The Birth of a Nation, which led to the rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan down in Stone Mountain, Georgia, back in 1915. His college buddy Woodrow Wilson screened The Birth of a Nation movie in the White House and said it was like writing history with lightning, that it was so accurate. And this was a man who was a so-called progressive, who was a Democrat, who a lot of black folks were told by so-called black leadership and influencers, the social media influencers of the earlier 20th century. They didn't have all this what we got now, but the so-called people that were the black leadership told, and like a lot of these people I love, I respect, and they realized they made a mistake. They told black folks, just the second coming of Lincoln, this Southern gentleman from Virginia, former governor of New Jersey, president of Princeton University, this educated, scholarly man was going to going to free us like Lincoln did for the slave. He enslaved, he resegregated DC federal government. He resegregated the Navy. He did a lot of things. He sent a lot of black folks lost their jobs in federal government. And he endorsed the movement that led to the rebirth of the Klan, which at its height back in the 20s had a membership of over 4 to 7 million people. So black folks said this too. So we've been living Project 2025. The same year the Klan came out was also the birth year of the Fraternal Order of the Police. This was the same year that, the lynching of Leo Frank, the Jewish businessman from New York, took place outside of Atlanta back in 1915. 1915 was a pivotal year in American history. You had the first cop put to death for service-connected crimes, Lieutenant Charles Becker up in New York at Sing Sing. They put him in the electric chair. I want to say that was July 31st, 1915. I think his birthday was July 30th, and then he got executed at July 31st, 1915. It's about 45. He was 45 years old. But there's a lot of stuff, and this is why I like to do what I'm doing, because I want to connect the dots to history. Like, history repeats and rhymes. Like I talked about what was going on in 1924 in the country and what is going on in 2024. 1924, it was prohibition, making the sale and drinking alcohol or liquor illegal in this country. Now they're making the First Amendment illegal. You got the thought police, you got the fact checkers who are really the censorship people, like to censor things that don't go along with the official narrative. And this is the time of the great discernment. This is not the time of the great deceit or the great reset. This is the great discernment. It's time to figure out where we stand with people, with entities, with institutions, with God, with all that stuff. This is a time to figure out what's going on and where do I fit in. It's kind of remind me. When we look at these doomday preppers, right? These TV shows that talk about people get ready for the end of civilization, nuclear holocaust, and all that. And Cat Williams talked about how a lot of these big tech savvy social media moguls, gurus, whatever, CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg are building bunkers, underground bunkers, luxurious underground bunkers and stuff like that. Or you think about Elon Musk is trying to go out into space and start a colony outer space. What do they know that the average person do not know? It's like you got to start thinking, what does Trump know that they cannot allow him to be president again? What is it that he possesses and he has knowledge of, and that he's willing to communicate with the public that they don't want to be let out the bag? And if you look at what's going on, like, I want people to really think about this. If Trump is the enemy to the people, why is it that people can bash Trump and talk dirty about Trump and talk bad and disrespect the President Trump and his person, and nothing gets done to say a person? Nothing in terms of getting canceled. You don't get canceled by the culture. You don't get deplatformed on social media or demonetized. But as soon as you say something about a certain group of people, you lose everything. Well, at least the things they gave you, you lose. I don't know if Kanye West was actually a billionaire. It's like when Minister Farrakhan pointed out, if you was a billionaire, how come they able to make you not a billionaire overnight? On paper. See, this is the tricks they do. They got us on paper. They got us thinking one way or the other. They know who we are. A lot of us don't know who we are. We just had a great genealogist out of Alabama just passed. They did a what do you call that, segment on her on one of these. I guess it was CBS in the mornings, but James Brown, the sports commentator. He interviewed this sister who's a righteous ancestor who just passed, who was a celebrated genealogist. Even as she was dying from cancer, she still had that spirit of giving, of wanting people to know who they are, or where they came from, who's your people be. But like she said, even when you go looking through those trees, you find out some things that happen that were traumatic and that it really turn you off. Do not stop the journey. Do not know your people, know your history, pass that on. We got to be in the business of doing it, of telling our story from our perspective. It's just like when Dana Bash on CNN was trying to catch JD Vance in a lie. And JD Vance, I like him, man. I didn't know who he was until Trump selected him. Trump had good instincts on this dude. This dude is like he's like an attack dog. He's like a Tupac all around, and Tupac in politics in terms of how he's quick on his feet and how he can answer, how he can protect. No, he's really thorough. He got a legal mindset, but like Dana Bash was trying to get him to say that they made up the story, that him and Trump and the Trump team made up the stuff that was going on in Springfield, Ohio about the immigrants eating cats and dogs and geese and duck. And he said, he basically said something that he did some ninjutsu, something like some word. He did a trick on her. He used her trick against him because she's trying to catch him in an aha moment, and basically saying, "Yeah, we created a story. We created a story to bring attention to what was going on in the country. We were trying to tell y'all all the stuff that people was going through, but because we know that people own pets, people love pets over here. We got a lot of pet owners in America. We decided to run with that narrative to bring more attention to what we want y'all to pay attention to. Is there's a lot of people that are coming in this country that should not be in this country, but our government is allowing it to happen. They're endorsing them, and that's a problem for American citizens. So you know how, like I said, people still hate Mike Vick to this day about the dog thing. And I talked to black and white pen owners. They just hate this thing. He paid his debt to society. He went to prison, and he's an American success story because the way he bounced back, he was able to go back in the NFL, and he had some good highlights after. Now, he was the highest paid football player at the time he went to prison. He was the face of the NFL, and I believe Mike Vick should be in the Hall of Fame if he only had a big game receiver. See, Mike Vick never had a Randy Moss. He had an Algie Crumpler at tight end, but he never had like a Randy Moss or a T.O. or a Jerry Rice. Had he had a big game receiver, Mike Vick would most definitely be in Canton right now, enshrined in Cooperstown, right? But Mike Vick did a lot of good things. He paid his debt to society. He came back and finished his football career in an honorable way. He actually made good financial decisions with his money. Like he was able to invest his money. He had help from the NFL and learning how to invest his money. So he's not hurting for money right now. So to me, he's an American success story. But people still hold this thing against him about the dog fighting. And he wasn't on the properties at the time. My thing is, I believe the cousins should have took the fall for Mike Vick. If he was the goose that laid the golden egg, you protect the goose at all costs. And one of them could have did the bid in prison. But I guess God has a way, because it still turned out pretty good for him. Maybe he had to be slowed down. That's why he had to go to prison and pay his debt, whatever that means. But I think about, they talk about Mike Vick with the dog fighting. Then what about the animal shelters that put these dogs to sleep when they can't find a home for them? What about, I'm across the river from Arkansas? They got the dog track. How many greyhounds you think they kill every year or put to sleep after they use them up and exploit them? If they still running dogs at the dog track, I know it's a casino, but are they still running dogs over there in West Memphis? I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to the casino, to the Greyhound dog track thing. But anyway, I appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much. We gonna be on a journey, man. Well, family, thank you for checking in, for tuning out to tune in and get in where you fit in. Yes, it is. Life is interesting right now. I like this. He said, truth does not meet the terms of service in 2024. They can't still handle the truth. People say they want the truth. People still can't handle the truth. And that's the truth, Roof. Not saying that you Roof, but I just want to rhyme. I think by Spike Lee. But anyway, with the Kamala thing is interesting. right now. Like, Elon got in trouble because he said, well, people was thinking on their mind about why is only Trump getting all this hate pushback? Why hasn't the other candidates got anything? And people took it and ran with it. Hollywood unlocked. They posted it for they Kamala stands, and people just ate up what Elon said, and Elon took it down. But I know what he was mean. Like, why is it Trump being targeted like that? Everybody else ain't being targeted like that. Kamala is not a threat to anybody but the American people and the people in general. She is not a threat to the powers that think they be, to the so-called corporate interests in this country and outside this country, to the globalists. She's in bed with the neocons. I mean, Dick Cheney gave her an endorsement. And people it's like, no, people are really out of it. Like, people are under mind control. Because people keep on saying, like Donald Trump said in the debate, you talking about day one, you've been there for almost 4 years. Why have you done anything you said you want to do in January? Why haven't you done the things you could have done? And people say, well, she's vice president. People want to sound so smart. Dick Cheney was vice president, but arguably you make the case that he was the de facto president during those 8 years in the Bush office, Bush Jr. office, that he actually was running things. Who run it? Dick run it. Who run it? Dick run it. Dick Cheney runs it. Dick Cheney shot a dude in his face. I remember he shot a dude in the face, and the dude said it was his fault. He was in Dick Cheney's way. Like, I had my face in his gun, and it wasn't his fault. It was my fault that I shot with buckshot. Dick Cheney didn't do nothing wrong. The gun didn't do nothing wrong. I'm guilty as charged. Look at this stuff in my face. That's my fault. It ain't Dick's fault. It ain't Dick's fault. Whoa, it ain't Dick's fault. They changed him. I cannot vote for him, and he's the most dangerous person in 248 years of this republic. No, you was the most dangerous, Mr. Penguin. Batman. You the most dangerous person. Look what you got us into. The Afghanistan pullout, yeah, that happened on the Biden administration. But y'all raw dog Afghanistan during the Bush Jr. years. Y'all went in there raw dog. And we hit the nasty pullout game 20 some years later. About 20 years later. I don't know, man. It's like this economy, this world runs on war profiteering. It's like some people mad at the people of Ukraine. I'm not mad at them because they're not at fault. It's the administration, it's the politics. They're blood sacrifices. It's like we being blood sacrificed over here by the government and by the powers that think they be. The Ukrainian people are not at fault. It's their government. Like, Ukrainian people are not getting the money like the illegal immigrants and aliens are getting in America. I don't think they're giving them EBT cards or whatever. But what they doing in Ukraine, they making the military industry complex very, very rich. They were already filthy rich, degenerate rich, but now they're getting richer. See, war is not about freedom. It's about controlling other people's resources. It's not about, it's not about what people think it is. Because when soldiers go to war, they're not thinking about the ideology when they're in the moment of getting shot at and blown up. They're thinking about, I'm trying to survive. And I want my we call that band of brothers to survive too. So we're not even thinking about politics on that war. We're thinking about survival. So the contractors, the military, the people that produce the weapons and the vehicles and equipment, they're getting all the taxpayers' money from here. But like Baba Dick Gregory would say, you know, don't be mad when they decide to drop the bomb on us because our taxpayer dollars pay for what the hell we brought to them. It's like what Malcolm said, the chickens are coming home to roost. And it's chicken roosting time. It is what it is. I mean, we are a third world country masquerading as a first world power. We are a third world country masquerading as a first world power. We are a third world country masquerading as a first world power. See, they're trying to make America look like, no disrespect, but They're trying to California or Californication, the Californication, the Californication. Like what they call it? You know that Showtime show with the guy that used to be on X Files. He was like a nympho, or, you know, he was like he had that habit, he had that itch. He was fiending for that Kit Kat. He liked to pat Kit Kat. He had a thing for cat. He liked to pat it all the time. The guy who played the lead, Mulder, you know, Mulder from the X Files, the Californication. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Like fornication was a play off of fornication, but they added Californication or fornication, whatever. They used to come on Showtime. But anyway, they try to make America to a big California Venezuela mix. They try to turn America, United States of America, into a mix of Venezuela and California. You know, think about what's going on with them taking over apartment complexes like it's a New Jack City. Now, y'all remember the movie New Jack City when Nino Brown and them took over the apartment complex and had the women butt naked, you know, packing that stuff, that blue magic. I know there's American Gangster, but I call it's nude magic. I call it nude magic for New Jack City. Check out New Jack City. That's a classic. We just lost Bill Cobb. I met Bill Cobb, man. He made an ancestor, rest in peace. One of my favorite character actors of all time. We lost a lot of people in 2024, unfortunately, especially this summer. I mean, like, you know, James Earl Jones, of course, just lost Tito Jackson, of course. We lost Frankie Beverly, even Beat King, and even Chino XL. I wasn't into Chino XL. Only reason I knew about Chino XL was because of Tupac. Tupac made him famous. I mean, he had some, I guess he had some skills. He was talented, but he wasn't no Tupac. But Tupac made Chino XL famous in his infamous beefs. And but Beat King, man, I mean, he was club, what it Club Godzilla. He had them bangers, man. They'll be playing in the clubs and the strip clubs. It's unfortunate we lost him. We lost him at the age of 39. I want to say he died August 15th, 2024. From what I read, I have not read anything since. I think he died doing what he loved. He died in the recording studio. And I think his daughters were there. God be with them, bless the family. But we're losing a lot. Oh yeah, Fat Man Scoop. You know, I remember him and Missy did some great stuff over 20 years ago. People are dropping, people are leaving, man. But it's the great rapture time. There's a lot of people missing and going. There's a lot of people have been missing that we don't know about because we so obsessed with celebrity. It's only a tragedy when a Tito, God bless him, he lived to be 70, but Tito Jackson was a great musician in his own right. He just so happened to be related to Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson is just like he takes over the room, right? He's like one of those people. But Tito was talented in his own right. He was nobody. I mean, the whole Jackson Five were very talented. The whole Jackson family is very talented family. You know, thank God for Joe Jackson. And they always trying to like act like Joe Jackson was just a horrible person. I never met Joe Jackson. I know from Baba Dick Gregory when Michael Jackson was going through that trial back in 2005, that Joe Jackson leaned on Dick Gregory to help his son because Michael Jackson was scared to eat anything or drink anything because he thought they were trying to kill him, and they were trying to kill him. So Dick stepped in, he intervened, got Michael Jackson the fluids and hydration that he needed so he could last, and he beat the case. He just beat it. Like Dick Gregory would say, Michael Jackson was, you know, I was there with Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney said he don't think he a pedophile. He think he X-Files. Michael Jackson is more X-Files than any type of files, right? Or Paul Mooney, another ancestor, said. But Dick Gregory said Michael Jackson was just like he didn't have a normal childhood. He didn't know like he said Michael Jackson walked to the refrigerator, opened up the door, lights come on, he started performing. That was Michael Jackson because he never had a childhood. Like he said, I never had a childhood. He didn't go to his prom. He didn't go to the regular high school and stuff like. I mean, Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson. Ain't no person like him. Matter of fact, they got the MJ tribute that won the Tony Awards and stuff like that. Broadway, they're in town, and my sister and my mom saw the MJ tribute show over in London, and they had a great time. So it's now in Memphis from September the 17th through the 22nd. If you can make it there to the Orpheum Theater on Bill Street in Maine. Yeah, and the Orpheum is a historic venue. We did a Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards there, and it's a nice historic venue. A lot of greats came through there. But Michael Jackson tribute show, I don't know like the name. I think it's based on the Dangerous tour or something. I don't get me, but it's the Michael Jackson, Broadway show is in town. If you are in Memphis, Tennessee, check it out. September 17th through the 22nd. It's not a paid promotion. And yes, Laudo, that's right. Dick sneaked him over to the hospital. Yeah. I think they had to go to San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but that did happen. But Dick was very close to both Michael Jackson and Marvin Gaye. And Dick Gregory actually did the eulogy at Marvin Gaye's funeral, if I'm not mistaken. But Dick Gregory was, he was something else himself. Yeah, Mooney X-Files. Yeah. Paul Mooney was great, man. I had a chance to meet him as well. But he was like on the decline around the time I met him. He was dealing with health issues. But Dick was a very good friend because, him and Paul would tour together towards the end. So Dick was looking out for Paul. This General Smedley Butler summed up War is a Racket back in the late. Yeah, see, people don't talk about General Smedley Butler. I'm glad you brought up General Smedley Butler. His stuff is available online. But General Smedley Butler was a guy who won 2 Medal of Honors. He won 2 Medal of Honors. He won 2. Most people, when they get one, a lot of times they're already dead. They died in battle. They don't get the chance to celebrate it but he got 2 Medal of Honors. He got one for the Spanish Civil War. Spanish American War. Excuse me. I'm thinking about the 30s. But he got one for the Spanish American War that took place, of course, back in the late 19th century. And he got one for participating in the Boxer Rebellion over in China. I think that took place in China. So, but he realized, he was approached by these Wall Street banksters back in the day. They wanted to overthrow the government or do a coup d'etat. Franklin Roosevelt was the president then. They wanted to overthrow the White House, install him as the president. And Smedley Butler was a real patriot. He went to the press. He allegedly went to Congress to expose the plot to overthrow the government and put him as the president. And he was known as the Fighting Quaker. So, a great Marine, probably the greatest Marine of all time, U.S. Marine. But he was from Philadelphia, from Pennsylvania. And I believe he died in 1940. Y'all can look that up. They might have got rid of him. This is right before World War II. And he was such a well-respected American hero. But like he said, war is a racket. And like he said, he realized that he wasn't doing his patriotic duty, but what he was doing was acting as a racketeer for multinational corporations. Like he'll go around he said, I'm more powerful than Al Capone. He said, whereas Al Capone, I'm paraphrasing, operated in Chicago, I operated on several continents, creating banana republics for multinational corporations. What do you think the CIA does? How do you think the CIA, why the CIA was created? Think about what happened to Iran or Iran. Iran. Back in the 50s. Wasn't it 50? Operation Ajax. Iran got into it with BP, British Petroleum, because they wanted to control their resources once again. They wanted to make more profit off of their oil than BP. And BP said, hell no, hell to the no. Well, BP said. So BP had the CIA and British intelligence work on a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government in Iran. And that's why Iran is the way they are, because the people know the history of United Snakes involvement, British involvement in the overthrow of their legit government. And they helped create a theocracy. Our government helped to create a theocracy. Is a theocracy like when they rule by religion? Let me get it right, because I want to do another. Like I got it wrong, but I didn't get it wrong. I want to say I say it right. I'm just looking this stuff up. I got a smartphone. Might well just get smart with it. But yeah, I said Iran's complex and unusual political system combines elements of a modern Islamic theocracy with democracy. A network of elected, partially elected, and unelected institutions influence each other in the government's power structure. Oh, well, okay. So yeah, but we help create the, like, when people talk about Iran is a threat, it's a nuclear threat, but we help create that environment for it to be. So let's look up Operation Ajax. I'm gonna do a little quick look up of Operation Ajax. The 1953 Iranian coup d'etat, Operation Ajax, right? Okay. And you know who was involved? One of the masterminds behind that. I said the CIA and British intelligence, but it was let's see, just looking this stuff up. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Just looking stuff up. It's interesting. Uh huh. Yep. This happened during the Eisenhower administration. And then it was led by Roosevelt for the CIA. I think it was I'm trying to look up the Roosevelt name. Theodore Roosevelt. I think it was Theodore Roosevelt's grandson, Kermit Roosevelt. Do a lot of typing. I've been looking this up. I just want to get that out there because, like, what the news today, or the so-called news, I call it propaganda. It doesn't do a good job of educating the American public. We are some of the most undereducated, overfed, poisoned people. Yeah, Kermit Roosevelt Jr. Yes, he just died in June 8th, 2000. Was an American intelligence officer who served in the Office of Strategic Services, which was the forerunner to the CIA, during and following World War II, a grandson of Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th president of the United States. Roosevelt went on to establish American friends in the Middle East and then played a lead role in the CIA efforts to overthrow Mohammed Mossadegh. Mossadegh, Democratic elected appointed prime minister of Iran back in August of 53. Let me see. Yeah, the prime minister of Iran, right? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Forgive me, but he was the prime minister of Iran that was democratically elected, that was overthrown by the CIA and the British intelligence because they wanted to control their resources. It's like if you think about what happened with Gaddafi. People, he's a monster. He was evil. No, he was for his people, and he was a committed Pan Africanist. Now he was an Arab, but he was a Pan Africanist, and I think you can't be a Pan Africanist and still be an Arab. Just like you could be a black person and be a white supremacist. No, you had black Nazis during Hitler's day. We could talk about that. You had black people that were Nazis in Nazi Germany, right? So that's another story for another day. But what I'm saying is that what's interesting about Kermit Roosevelt Jr. is that his grandfather was against monopolies. He was known as the monopoly buster, right? Teddy Roosevelt. He didn't like monopolies, but yet his son was trying to help a monopoly, whatever, BP, whatever, do what they do. The multinational corporations that General Smedley Butler would talk about, right? So, see, I got a lot of things in my Donald Trump, he's a threat Simply for the fact that he's a deal maker who's also a peacemaker. He's not a warmonger. So Dick Cheney, he doesn't like him. George W. Bush don't like him. The Clintons don't like him. The Abominations don't like him because he does not believe in war profiteering. He believes in America being a competitive place and also the leader in the world's economy. But he don't believe that we should be engaged in everybody's business like that. You know, like he was saying, he doubled down. Hey, look, I want to end the war. I don't. People say, "Do you want Ukraine to win?" He said, "You know, I want to end the war." Because to me, that's a good diplomatic move. So that shows he's not biased towards one or the other actually being victorious. He just wanted to end because too much loss of life. That's bad for business. Like Donald Trump would have been a successful mob boss. Some people think he is a mob boss, right? But you think about, yes, I have force, but I use it the way I use it. It kind of goes back to Sun Tzu, the art of war. It's not about having always the biggest, most powerful army. The game is to not engage in war. You don't want to go to war. That's why you play the art of war. It's not about going to war. This should be the last resort to go to war. Let's negotiate. Let's talk. Let's make deals. The war piece should be the last thing to be picked. Just like with the nuclear option, they're making it where we go into nuclear war with Russia because if we're trying to supply Ukraine with all these resources to go deep into Russia, that's a problem because they couldn't do it without our help. Just like with Israel, a lot of stuff going on, they can't do it without our help. They need Big Brother USA. It's like North Korea. You ain't gonna mess with North Korea because they got his big brothers. China, Big Brother China got North Korea's back, as well as cousin Russia. Cousin Russia got big cousin Russia, and Big Brother China got North Korea back. We ain't going to war. If you think about, when 9/11 happened, I can't gonna forget when 9/11 happened. If you remember the axis of evil, who were considered the axis of evil? It was Iran, Iraq, and North Korea. Who is still here? Iran and North Korea. Why? Because they actually had weapons of mass destruction. They probably had something, but they had weapons, and they got them now. They got nuclear weapons now. But Iraq was the only one that made a deal with the devil, which is us. Iraq was the only one that made a deal with the devil. That's why Saddam is no longer here. That's why they took out his legacies, his sons, because you made a deal with the devil. Just like Gaddafi, because he made a deal with us some type of way, they got Gaddafi out of there because he was trying to unite Africa through currency, African currency. You're trying to unite all the African nations through their own currency backed by gold. That's why Gaddafi had to go. Y'all talking about the flight that got blown up that he was not responsible for and all that stuff. That's been proven that he wasn't the key person in that Pan Am flight, whatever that got blown up. There was some other stuff going on with that, but they put it on Gaddafi just like they try to put 9/11 on Saddam Hussein. But we control their airspace. If their airspace was restricted, how can Saddam be the mastermind behind 9/11? We were starving their people. We had restrictions on them. There was the weak link, and Dick Cheney and them destroyed Iraq. Why? It was already, if that's the cradle of civilization, they already had the infrastructure. Why he had to blow up stuff? Because they were making their business partners, Halliburton, war profiteering, man. It's not about no Operation Iraqi freedom. It's about Operation Iraqi enslavement. See, they got mad at the first Bush because he could have went all the way in, but he said, he made his point. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it was Saddam invaded Kuwait or whatever, it was on, and then Bush and them did what they did. You had Colin Powell, the Jamaican, who was actually, I guess, black, unlike Kamala. He actually embraced being black, right? Colin Powell from Queens or from New York. Then you had Schwarzkopf, General Schwarzkopf. You had some celebrated American heroes, but they didn't go all the way in. But even I remember General Powell was on Meet the Press years ago. He talked about with Tim Russert when Tim Russert was on. I like Meet the Press when they had Tim Russert, but he died unexpectedly. I was doing Obama's first campaign back in 2008. I believe Tim Russert died back in 2008. But General Powell said something that was very powerful. He said, when you declare war, you call off civilization. When you declare war, you call off civilization. When you declare war, you call off civilization. So Donald Trump is trying to avoid war as much as he can. To me, if a president was going to win a Nobel Peace Prize, it would be somebody like Donald Trump. If you look at his first term, in spite of Russia Gate, and all the obstruction, the impeachment, and all that stuff they did on Donald Trump, he kept us out of any new wars. Russia did not invade Ukraine on Donald Trump's watch. He had his thumb on the Taliban head. You know what I'm saying? He was doing things that was making it safe for America. People say, "Oh, he's making it dangerous for America." A Muslim ban, building a wall. No, America is failing because America does not put itself first. The Republic is not else before us. We're being the ultimate people pleasers. Everybody is taking advantage of our space. We're not setting boundaries because we're not protecting our borders. We're not setting boundaries because we're not protecting our borders. We're not setting boundaries because we're not protecting our borders. And this is the mess we in. You take on everybody's like, oh, now they want to play with my Wi-Fi. Rebuke you in the name of Yeshua. They're trying to play with the Wi-Fi, but we're gonna keep it going. But the thing about it is that we gotta have honest dialogue about what's taking place here. This is not about hating people, not from my end. What is interesting about what's going on is that I tell people my politics. I let people know that I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump a third time. I let family, friends, and strangers know that. And it's not my problem what people think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's not my concern. What you think about me and my politics ain't none of my business. But I know my business is that I do have concerns. I'm not worried, but I do have concerns. And I'm gonna do what I can within my power, within my range, whatever I can do to be a part of the solution and not be part of the problem. Because I really believe in solving problems. It's like men and women. You talk to a woman, she want to tell you about her problems. And a man, we constantly think about how can I help her fix her problems? What can I do on my end to help her with her problems? So, like we two different type of beings, right? Women talk about problems. Men want to fix problems, want to solve a problem. Donald Trump is a man who wants to solve the problems. Kamala is a woman who wants to talk about so-called problems. Well, really, she wants to avoid talking about the problems and the issues, which is problematic because she is in power right now. And the things she's talking about what she want to do in January, she could do now. But you know what's going on? Do not be surprised. Let me see something. Trying to see. Let me see something. I'll be right back. Guess who's back and still black? It's Brother Ron. He's the one. Okay, I had to do something. But what I was saying about Kamala, the Trump thing. But yeah, but notice with Kamala, she got a lot of the neocons back in her. I don't recognize this Democratic Party from our childhood. You got a lot of the neocons backing her. That should be a sign for anybody what's going on in terms of you got to think about if we as the public, we are allowed to bash Trump, but we can't bash certain groups of people. even though if our bashing reveals a truth about certain groups of people, certain individuals, what does that tell you about Trump? Like, why is it that Trump was so beloved just 10 years ago, and now he's so hated? Same thing with Dr. King. When Trump talked about he had bigger crowds than Dr. King, some of y'all got triggered by that, but he reminds me of Dr. King in a way that how he's being treated by the media. Dr. King was very badly treated by legacy media the last couple of years of his life. They demonized and severely criticized Dr. King, kind of like how they doing Trump. But they didn't have all the social media and stuff back in 68 and 67 as they do now. But Trump is, I think that's why, Lincoln is on my mind with Trump, because this country is possible at civil war level, which is interesting because you think about who started the Civil War. It was the Democrats. The Democrats, they wanted to secede from the Union, and they did. Jefferson Davis was a Democrat. With George McClellan, who ran against Lincoln when he was running for his second term. He was a Democrat. He was over the Union Army. He did not want to go to war for the Union with his army. It was too pretty. It was too, I don't want to get their uniforms dirty and all that. But he was really a Southern sympathizer. And then George McClellan, see, I got his name right. So I don't have to do no like, oh, Brother Ron said it was George McClellan. But it really was Bill Clinton. No, I think it was George McClellan, the Union general. Just want to look this up. Yeah, George B. McClellan, right. He was the Union general before Ulysses S. Grant. And thank God he switched him out because he wasn't doing his job. He got rid of him quick. I'm trying to see. I want to say McClellan. I'm just looking through some stuff. Yeah, he ran as a Democrat against Lincoln during the 1864 presidential campaign. See, Trump is like a Lincoln because, like, if you look at what he's doing, like he talked about, I'm the greatest president for Black people since Lincoln. Look at how he's building a team of rivals, like that book that historian. Let me get her name. I'm back in black. Let me do Doris. I like looking stuff up, man, and doing it in real time because y'all can look up this stuff too. Doris Kearns Goodwin, that's her name. She wrote a book about the Lincoln, and she's a well-known and respected presidential historian, Doris Kearns Goodwin, and she wrote a book called A Team of Rivals" about Lincoln's cabinet, how he basically used people that were his peer competitors. His so-called should be his political enemies. He put them in his cabinet to help him get through the Civil War, and which was very effective. Look at what's going on with the Trump campaign. Look who's coming aboard. Look at, like Elon Musk, of course, but also look at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Look at Tulsi Gabbard. Look at Swami Vivek, what his name is. You know what I'm talking about. He got people that ran against him or didn't agree with him maybe a year or 2, 4 or 5 years ago. They're now on his side. So he's building a great team of people. I'm very excited about the possibilities for America and the world with a second Trump administration. If you got a Bobby Kennedy who really cares about what's going on with the people, he's a son of privilege that experienced tragedy. What I like about Trump and Robert Kennedy is that they could actually empathize with the regular everyday people. These are men of privilege, of great name recognition, unique legacies, very public family history, who can identify with everyday people because of their struggles, because of the battles fought and the losses. Think about Donald Trump. He can identify with people going through it hard through the Just Us system because he understands how the Just Us system been weaponized against him even if he's a president, even being a billionaire and being a president does not keep the just us system from being weaponized against him. And all the BS when people say, well, he's a convicted felon, those things will be overturned in appeal. The he was extorted. You know, if you look at what happened, this Stormy Daniels thing should never went to trial because he was being extorted. He was being blackmailed. You know, he was the victim. It wasn't Stormy Daniels. It was Donald J. Trump. And he was betrayed by his Fredo, Michael Cohen. His Fredo, his lapdog, betrayed him. And it's only betrayal when the people that you love do it to you. It's never betrayal by an enemy or a stranger. It's always by the ones you love. Skin folk, kin folk, whatever. Ain't always friend folk. Okay? So this is what we dealing with. He was victimized. I mean, he got identified. If anybody got identified with the Central Park Five, it would be Donald J. Trump. Look at all the sexual assault charges, whatever. This dude stood up for Mike Tyson when he went through it. When Mike Tyson lost all his sponsors and friends, and Donald Trump stood up. Not only did he stand 10 toes down for Mike Tyson, he called out David Letterman before a national audience on David Letterman's show. When David Letterman was trying to throw Mike Tyson on the bus, he said, no. You cannot throw him under the bus. He didn't say that, but don't do that to Mike. Mike was set up. That's Donald Trump. So don't tell me about Central Park Five. You have black people like Al Sharpton, the FBI informant, that was taking pictures with Trump. Trump financed Jesse Jackson's historic presidential runs. He provided fair housing for the Black Panther Party. David Hilliard, one of the co-founding members of the Black Panther Party, said that Donald Trump gave him a good housing deal up in Harlem back in the day. So how is Trump hating black people when he's on Method Man's Judgment Day album doing a skit? Tell me, we waiting for your album to drop, Method Man. We at the party. You know, Donald Trump got more rap songs about him probably than any person in the history of the world. He's from Queens. That's LL Cool J, Run DMC, Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent, Queens. Same as John Gotti. So he gangster rap. He's the gangster rap dream. Like when they asked 50 Cent when he's at the Capitol, he said, like, well, what is it about black men and Donald Trump? He said, you understand Rico. And then Ben Crump said, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that. He didn't say that, but he looked like you. I can't believe you said that. He want to say that, right? But he understands what it is to be attacked by a system. Donald Trump could understand COINTELPRO better than any president because he has been a victim of the new age social media COINTELPRO. Just like all these people, these would-be assassins, they have been brainwashed. I want to let y'all know something. We have all been brainwashed. We are under a deep hypnosis right now. As a collective, they have lied to us. They have produced systemic Stockholm syndrome among the American people. We are under hypnosis. I know it's hard for y'all to believe that. Anytime they can get you to love somebody and hate them, and you don't know why, I just hate them. I can't stand Orange. Orange Man must go. Orange Man bad. Orange Man is good. Orange Man is needed. Orange Man is the Gatorade for your thirst. America. He's commander in Gatorade. Cheeto, whatever. We need people like him. He's a throwback to a Teddy Roosevelt type of cat. He got that swagger. He said, speak softly, but carry a big stick. He got it. Man is about world peace through friendly competition. He wants America to win. He don't want everybody. He didn't say, I want Ukraine to win. He said, I want America to win. But America cannot win if you always people pleasing. Sometimes you got to say no. What did Cat Williams say at the beginning? Diddy loves to party, but you got to tell him no. The world loves America to pay the bill when it's time to eat, but you got to tell them no. It's like Trump said no to NATO. Pay for what you want. Can't always have it free. What's wrong with y'all? Why are we giving everything away? It's like Fred's, that Dollar General store, Fred's. He do a commercial with the founder Fred and his wife. She said, "Fred, stop giving away the store. Stop giving away the store. We got to stop giving away stuff." See, I had to learn that too. I used to give away a lot of stuff. It's a lot of folks that's eating right now based on the work I had to do. I was like, I'm just doing it for the people. And I'm driving around the country and, spend my gas money, pay for these hotels, the IRS after me, and I ain't made no money. All that money went out, and, doing these interviews, getting cursed out by Dick Gregory or, going around the country. Like you said, man, you trap, you hunt me down. You like a bounty hunter. You come find me. I don't care if I'm in New York or I'm in Kansas City or St. Louis or whatever, Mississippi. Brother Ron, you come find me and you do it for the people. My thing is like people don't understand this stuff. This stuff wasn't easy to do. I didn't know all I was getting into before I got into it. But my thing is when you do things in a very beautiful spirit, the universe has a way of rewarding you and the people that you serve. And it's been a blessing. I learned so much about myself recently, but some of the trials and tribulations that we all go through, because everybody going through something, some people laugh, some people, put on a smile, a brave face, but we all got things that we're carrying around that we're trying to deal with, or maybe we're not trying to deal with it, but I'm dealing with my stuff. And I know it's a blessing to be able to talk to you all tonight. Regardless of what, I'm all over the place, but it's a lot of stuff that be on my mind. And sometimes I keep a lot of these things to myself, but something telling me, Brother Ron, keep on sharing whatever you can share for the people, because the people need to hear from you. And we need to be encouraged because people make fun of me all the time. You got to develop a thick skin dealing with the public, or dealing with your own family and so-called friends. Because like my thing is I love my people enough that I'm willing to be portrayed as an idiot, as a Sambo, as a so-called Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom is really a good thing. Uncle Tom, you look at who the real Uncle Tom was, he was a hero. He was a race man. He helped runaway slaves. They helped form a colony for runaway slaves up in Canada. Y'all do realize that black people, runaway slaves, invented hockey. See, like even with the country music awards, which is interesting, when people say, "Oh, Beyonce got denied," I wouldn't even care about that because you couldn't have country music without black people. You think about the fact that Hank Williams Sr., who is the king of country music, like Elvis is the king of rock and roll. Guess what they have in common? They had black teachers. They had black master teachers teaching them the art form. Rufus Payne. Look up Rufus Payne T-Tot. That was Hank Williams Sr.'s master teacher. His mom hired Rufus T-Top Payne, who could play. I mean, he was a genius. He could play all types of instruments. He could sing. He was a journeyman musician. Make his way between Alabama and New Orleans and all places in between. But he was hired by Hank Williams Sr.'s mom to teach him how to play the guitar and how to sing. I love Hank Williams Sr. music. I love his music. If you listen to some of this stuff, even though I struggle and strive, I'll never leave this world alive. Something like that. I love Hank Williams. His son Hank Williams Jr. did the Monday Night Football anthem. And before Hank Williams Sr. died, he said that the person who taught him was a black man named Rufus T-Tot Payne. And Hank Williams died at 29 around New Year's back in the early 50s on a suspect circumstance. He was on his way to a gig, I believe in West Virginia somewhere, and he died. They don't know when he just died in the car. Like he was in an Uber and just passed out. But anyway, they actually built a memorial, they dedicated a statue to Rufus T-Top Payne in Lincoln Cemetery outside of Montgomery where he's buried. They don't know where he's buried at, but Hank Williams Jr., the son of Hank Williams Sr., and the Grand Ole Opry, because a lot of people know about the Grand Ole Opry up in Nashville. Some of their early music stars were black people like D4 Bailey. So black people all over in country music, and nobody don't want to talk about it, but Beyonce, thank God for her. But for that anyway, for that country album, it was cool. I like the little country album she did. She's in that tradition of Ray Charles and all them guys, Charlie Pride, good stuff. But they dedicated a monument at the gates because they don't know where he's buried at in the cemetery. He's in the unmarked grave in Lincoln Cemetery. But the Grand Ole Opry and Hank Williams Jr. dedicated a monument, a statue in his honor. And Hank Williams Jr. actually wrote a song you could listen to. You could stream it called T-Tot that's dedicated to his father's master teacher, Rufus T-Tot Payne. So, you can't have this without black people. Like Jimmy Rogers, y'all know who Jimmy Rogers is? I guess he considered the father of country music from Meridian, Mississippi. You know this. Ole, 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 ole. That dude, yodel man. Like he be yodeling. He used to work on the trains and stuff back in the day. But he did a song I consider maybe it's the first gangster rap song ever recorded in American music history. It's called Blue Yodel Number 9. And he got Lil Hardy Armstrong, beautiful sister on piano from Memphis. And he got Louis Armstrong on a cornet or trumpet playing, blowing that jazz, man. And he talking about and Jimmy Rogers is talking about how he's at the corner of Bill and Main. If you know anything about Memphis, what's at the corner of Bill Street and Main Street? You got the Orpheum Theater across the street on one side, and then you got Memphis Light Gas and Robbers. Memphis Light Gas and Waters Utilities. We call it Memphis Light Gas and Robbers because they do be robbing us with the light bill, the gas bill. And he said, I'm on the corner of Bill and Main. I'm shooting rounders and I send all them rounders home. Ole, ole, ole. That stuff. I love that Blue Yodel Number 9. As a matter of fact, Johnny Cash and Louis Armstrong performed it on Johnny Cash's show back in the day. We had his variety show. And Johnny Cash, a lot of people don't know, he was married to a mixed woman, like a light-skinned black woman. And you look at the movie, the person who played his wife, I believe her name is Jennifer Flowers. She's from Memphis, actually. But his wife was really a light-skinned black person, a mixed person. And that's an interesting story. But Johnny Cash's favorite artist was Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who's also from Arkansas. Sister Rosetta Tharpe is my blood cousin. So I come from a family of entertainers. Like I said, Curtis Mayfield, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Big Miller, Vanessa Armstrong, the gospel singer. She's still around. Julian Mayfield. I come from people like that. So yo, knowing who you are and who you come from is very important. Marvin Gaye, supposedly. But anyway, you cannot have America without black people. And Donald Trump had a plan. He had that $500 billion platinum plan for his second term for Black America. Because we are old stuff. Because even you look at, a lot of black people, we live in Chicago, like places like Chicago, Detroit. A lot of our ancestors did not want to leave their land. A lot of them were forced off their land. They wasn't just going to the north to look for opportunities. They was going to the north to escape from state-sponsored white terrorism. People taking people's lands. I think about Robert Johnson, the great Delta blues singer, guitar player. They call him the king of the Delta blues, right? His stepfather was a well-off landowner in Mississippi, but they ran him out of Mississippi to seize his land. I think the Marchetti brothers, these Italians down there, the mob ran him off his land. And he went to Memphis, and you have a lot of stories. Like I'm like right across the river. I'm not that far from Arkansas, where I'm talking right now. And I always tell people about what happened to Isidore Banks back in the 50s. Isidore Banks was a wealthy black landowner. He was a tall, light-skinned black man with red hair, had freckles, I think. He was a ladies' man. He was married, but he had families on the side and stuff. He was a ladies' man, but he was a philanthropist. Like he actually was the reason why Clinton County, where Marion, Arkansas is located, got lights. He put up the money to put lights up, street lights up or whatever for the county. And he had a cotton gin mill that was black owned, like black folks. He helped create that. And so the white folks wanted his land. I guess the black folks wanted his business. He had like allegedly like 3,000 acres of land over in Arkansas, something like that. This is back in the 50s. And so what happened was that he was kidnapped and he was tortured. I think he was tortured for a couple of days. Like they basically tied him to a tree, tortured him. I heard he was castrated, beat up real bad, and set on fire. Now there was a big old strapping black dude, and now he was reduced to anything after they burnt him up. and his family was forced to flee. I interviewed his daughter, who was 4 at the time. They went to St. Louis. Her part of the family, other family went to other places. But his eldest daughter, his old, daughter was of age, she had tried to go to the bank to get his money out the bank. This is back in Arkansas, back in the 50s, 54. And he had almost $100,000 in the bank. That was 1954 money, like 94,000, 100,000 in 1954 is what today? Let's look that up. What's 100,000 1954 in today's money? It's looking up stuff. I love these smartphones. They're making us dumb, 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 but it's smart, smart, smart. Uh-huh. Okay. So that will be worth $1 million. Million $140,319.70 in 2024. So he basically had like $1 million. He had a small fortune in the bank that the bank stole from the family when the daughter went to claim it. And what's interesting is like the sheriff was involved in the kidnapping and murder and cover up of what happened to Isidore Banks. And when the mayor's wife died, and she hadn't been dead for maybe 20 something years. I think Tupac has been dead longer than his wife, the former sheriff wife who ran the county at the time. She left like $8 or $9 million to the local white church. And that money probably came from the blood money of Isidore Banks. Like I know I talked to his granddaughter, and she heard there was a theory that her grandfather was taken out by the Eisenhower administration. President Eisenhower was president of the United States back in 54. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Mr. D-Day, who led the largest military in world history. He had like 16 million people on his military command. That supreme leader of the Allied forces, Eisenhower. She heard a theory that he was taken out by the Eisenhower government because they wanted his land for I-55. Eisenhower is the father of America's interstate. He's the genius that came up with the interstate system that we now have today. That's Dwight D. Eisenhower. He invested in our infrastructure heavily. But they were saying that they didn't want to make a deal with the black dude that owned all their land, so they took him out the way. They changed some stuff around the courthouse, and to this day, we go to Arkansas, the land he used to own, you got subdivisions on it, dog track, whatever. You got a lot of land. We don't know about those stories. That's 1954. That's not even 100 years ago. And we talk about Emmett Till and stuff like that. But it's important to talk about these things. It's important to talk about, and what Donald Trump was trying to do with the Platinum Plan. Joe Biden got into office. He claimed he was going to meet with Ice Cube people and Ice Cube and talk about Ice Cube contract with Black America, the Black American contract. And I remember I had saved the Zoom call that Joe Biden did with the so-called black leaders like, Mark Morial of the Urban League. You had Derek Johnson, the NAACP, had Al Sharpton of the National Action Network and some other people. He basically told them, without biting his tongue, we're not going to do anything for y'all. Get with the Hispanics. They taking over. That's how he said it. If he didn't say it exactly like that, but that was what he was implying. Y'all time has come and gone. It has came and went. Get with the Hispanics. They running it. They running the yard. Y'all ain't running nothing but y'all mouths. And they were looking like stunned a little bit. They're looking like, wow, he just told us that he's not going to do anything for black people. Just like what Kamala said in that Griot interview. No, not just for black people. Never, no. You better thank a union member. You better thank a union member for not getting reparations. You better thank a union member. She just said, you should thank a union member. It's like a black Katharine Hepburn. Y'all know anything about them old school movies? It's like Katharine Hepburn. You better thank a union member. You better thank a union member. No, Kamala. She said, no, I'm not doing nothing for black people. Kamala Harris, are you black? Well, I don't want to play games like that. No, she's not black. I said it for her, okay? She's not black. Oh yeah. Said Woody Guthrie too learned from. They all learn from Bob Dylan. Learned from black people. Come on, man. Bob Dylan, the guy. Who's the guy that Kid Rock? Somebody talking about Trump or somebody playing somebody's song. People say he was a racist, but Kid Rock, he connected with Kid Rock. You know that guy, the musician. Um, I'm just looking this stuff up while I can. 'Cause I promise that I'll try to be more consistent in bringing y'all information. And I'm just changing my life around, and I can't talk about all the things I'm doing. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Uh huh. Trying to see. Okay, the guy that Kid Rock collaborated with, like the song. Uh huh. Let's see. No, 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 no. I'm trying to look for. It's a guy because somebody on my Facebook timeline pointing him out, saying this guy made racist songs about his woman sleeping with a black man and she a in lover. I'm trying to see, man. I can't, man. Oh my god. The reason why I'm gonna bring that guy up, y'all said in the chat. Um, you said Donald Trump is not like them. Nah, he different. He orange. He the orange man. Yeah, people like did it. Ye said it, and some other people said something like Al Sharpton. He an informant. That's known public knowledge. Is David Allen for? Okay, I think that's the name. Let me see. David Allen. David Allen Cole. Yeah, COE Cole. Like David Allen Cole. Then they people talking about a song that was played at the RNC last night with Trump or something like that. He did some stuff I think with Kid Rock, but people were critical of the lyrics he did in some of his songs. He's well respected in his field. But here's the thing: you know who inspired David Allen Cole to become a musician and a songwriter? It was the late great Johnny Ace, John Marshall Alexander from Memphis, Tennessee. The late great Johnny Ace, who is the grandfather of Ledisi, the award-winning R&B neo soul artist Ledisi. Johnny Ace got killed at 25 under questionable circumstances. They say he was playing with his gun. Some people believe somebody put something in his gun, a bullet in his gun he didn't know about, and he shot himself by accident backstage doing a concert down in Houston Christmas night, 1954. But he was inspired by Johnny Ace to become a musician. So he might be a racist, whatever, but he knew the best of the best. I believe also Screaming Jay Hawkins inspired him to pursue music. Another, I put a spell on you because you're mine. Screaming Jay Hawkins, he did that, right? So he had Screaming Jay Hawkins and the ghost of Johnny Ace inspired him to become David Allen Cole, American musician. So we always in the mix. That's what I'm trying to put forth. So even with Trump, Trump dead. They claim he was a Klansman. There's a New York Times article from June of 27 that talks about a Klan rally being broken up by the NYPD, and they got into a fight with the Klan because the Klan was a big political organization back in the day. We had millions of people in the Klan back in the 20s, and they wrote about a Fred Trump being released from jail, whatever, or being charged with beating up police and stuff. Fred Trump from Queens, that's what it says. So Donald Trump, he's from Queens, New York. His people from Queens. And it just go back to Donald Trump is a time traveler because even with the Elon Musk thing with Tesla, his uncle John Trump was a renowned scientist for the government, MIT professor for many years, award winning. When Nikola Tesla died back on January the 7th of 43, John Trump was given the job by the government to look over his notebooks and journals. They wanted John Trump to check out Tesla's stuff and see what's going on. Because Nikolai, whatever Tesla, not Tesla, the car company, whatever, but the actual real Tesla was an extraordinary human being who believed that he couldn't communicate. He was given things by angels, aliens, whatever you want to call them. But he wanted to have the world run on free energy. So I don't think he would agree with Tesla, the company, doing what it does, because he was trying to find free energy for the world. And you know what? People have invented cars that can run on water, but they did some type of law back in the 50s in America where the United States, they'll control patents to certain inventions that can undermine the economy. I'm gonna look up that law name. I didn't know about that law until like a month or two ago. Cause like, you have people that have invented engines that can run on water. Just like up in Buffalo, New York, the mass shooting that took place in Buffalo, New York, and all them black folks got killed at the grocery store. I think the first person that got killed was a retired police officer and security guard. They were saying on the internet that he actually invented an engine that can run on water. And that's why he might have got taken out. Like, they did a collateral damage. They want to make it like it was just a mass shooting thing, when really he was the actual target all along. But just like with the Mother Emmanuel thing, because the guy that was the leader of that church, the minister, the pastor of that church, of Mother Emmanuel, was a well-known South Carolina state politician. So you don't know why they really taking out people, because they'll wipe out whole planes. Just like we don't even talk about what happened in Brazil recently when that plane went down. Now we forgot about that. We forgot about Trump got shot the first time. Now they just remind us, oh yeah, he got shot 2 months ago. Man, they got our minds warped, man. We are under a state of hypnosis and denial. I'm telling y'all right now in spiritual warfare, they talking about the Haitians using cats and dogs to do witchcraft. This country using social media and Hollywood to do witchcraft. What's Hollywood about? What's spelling? What's, you speaking things into existence? It's like manifestation. It's so much stuff going on. But the Brazil thing, why has nobody talked about that in depth? Like they talked about the fact there supposed to be like 15 doctors on the plane. Half of them took another plane. And these are some of the world-renowned leading cancer researchers. So you had half of them get killed, and the other half took another plane. And we think it's just, it was just an accident. That's not an accident. That's not even a coincidence. That's the Matrix. That's what they do. Or even about that typhoon that happened off the coast of Italy. Or was it Sicily? I don't. It's so much stuff. I'm about to wrap it up. I could talk about the typhoon, or we call that thing. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street. Y'all remember the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? That's a great. And if y'all haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, do yourself a favor. Please watch that movie. That movie is incredible. Martin Scorsese is a master storyteller. He is a national treasure. The Irishman, it left some things to be desired. Killers of the Flower Moon makes up for the Irishman. Killers of the Flower Moon is like one of Martin Scorsese's masterworks, man. It's 3.5 hours, but it don't even seem like it's 3.5 hours. It's great storytelling, great pacing, great acting. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro. This is all around great cast. And you want to understand, like if somebody asked me, what's one movie I could watch to really understand what America is really about? Watch Killers of the Flower Moon. Don't have to ever thank me. They'll let you know what America is all about and has always been about. But the typhoon, but that in the Wolf of Wall Street, like he survived it. He was on his yacht. That happened again. Windstorm, Italy, 2024. I'm just typing in stuff. It wasn't a typhoon. It was some type of water sprout. What they call it, water sprout. But anyway, the people that got taken out are interested. I just want to talk about this because the news kind of overlooked. There's so much stuff going on. It happened this let me see. I'm trying to see the story. Yeah, it happened off the coast of Sicily, right? And luxury yacht. And I want to talk about the people that was on the yacht. It's kind of like remind me of the Titanic. And I was thinking about how they could weaponize the weather. Like we did with some weather from the far from the hurricane recently. Let me see. See, they call it either a water sprout or a tornado. So this happened. Let's see. It said in Sicily, specialist cave divers working in 12-minute underwater shifts were searching Tuesday for 6 missing passengers and crew, including British tech tycoon Mike Lynch, believed to be in the submerged wreck of a luxury yacht that was slammed by a powerful storm and swiftly sank off Sicily. So the date of this article is AP August 20th, 2024. So it said, okay, the sleek yacht named the Bayesian was carrying a crew of 10 people and 12 passengers when it suddenly sank near the Mediterranean island that is part of Italy at about 4 a.m. on Monday. One body has been recovered and 15 people survived. Fire rescue officials have said the 6 believed to remain in the sailboat's hull will be considered missing until they are located in the wreckage. Here's what we know so far about the sinking and those who were on board. See, that tycoon they found dead with his daughter. They found him dead. I'm gonna read about the guy because like, this is crazy, man. You can't make this stuff up. This is like a Hollywood movie. It's like a Martin Scorsese movie. I'm trying to let's see. He was just 59 years old, and his daughter died with him. And then what was crazy too, his business partner got killed crazy. He wasn't connected to the yacht and nothing like that. And I'm gonna read this story. Said missing tech tycoon Mike Lynch's business partner dies after being hit by a car days before the yacht sinking. Lynch former business partner. This is from People magazine. August was published August the 20th. Lynch former business partner and co-defendant Stephen Chamberlain was struck by a car on August 17th, and police announced that he died 3 days later. Same day that come on now. The co-defendant, a British tech entrepreneur, Mike Lynch, who is still missing amid a super yacht sinking in Sicily. They found his body, like him and his daughter was found dead. Okay. See, it's like Kobe Bryant. Him and his daughter was killed in a helicopter crash. See what these people do. See, it's hard to prove murder, because people are all this like, stuff happens, acts of God. Now these acts of Satan. They know act of God, but they'll kill your legacy too. They don't just kill you. They don't just destroy you, they destroy your legacies. It's like Kobe. He died with the one daughter that would have been his basketball legacy. She already, I believe, had a full ride or was securing a full ride to Connecticut, to UConn, to play basketball for them. See, they like look at the Kennedys. They don't just kill JFK. They kill JFK Jr. See, they just don't stop. It's like look at people, families. Look at the King family. People are they crazy? Why only one of them got kids? Because they know what they went through as kids. These people are not. We can't look at people and say, "Oh, they should." Why they don't do? They've been under attack all their lives. They are targeted individuals. That stuff is real. Really, we all are targeted individuals, but a lot of us are so indoctrinated into the system we don't realize it. Because 9/11 was the day that America lost its freedom. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about we gave up the Patriot Act. We was okay with the Patriot Act, NSA, all this stuff, all this spying. They spying on us right now through our laptops, through our cell phones, through that eye in the sky. Your television, you think it's turned off, it's unplugged. They listening to us on that. So we gave up all our freedom because of fear. And Baba Dick Gregory would say that fear and God cannot exist in the same space. But y'all don't hear me though. But getting back to this co-defendant, his business partner, they both got killed within 3 days of each other in freakish ways, like some Final Destination stuff, right? Like that's some Wolf of Wall Street stuff that, you know. Okay, Steve Chamberlain, 52, died in the hospital after being hit by a car in Cambridgeshire, England on Saturday, August 17th. Authorities said in a statement on Tuesday, August 20th. Local police are now investigating his death as they are seeking witnesses to the incident. Authorities previously reported that a pedestrian in his 50s had been seriously injured in the collision, which happened at around 10:10 a.m. on Saturday. The driver of the car was confirmed to be a 49-year-old woman who remained at the scene. Interesting. The Guardian reports that Chamberlain was out for a run at the time he was hit, citing his attorney, Gary Linsenberg. Cambridgeshire police shared a statement from Chamberlain's family in tribute. Steve was a much loved husband, father, son, brother, and friend. He was an amazing individual whose only goal in life was to help others in any way possible. He will be deeply missed, but forever in the hearts of his loved ones. Chamberlain was the co-defendant of Lynch in a U.S. trial over his tech company, Autonomy. Interesting name. He was accused of fraud and conspiracy over allegedly inflating the company's earnings with Lynch ahead of an $11 billion deal with Hewlett Packard, per the Times, TechCrunch, and the Associated Press. The former business partners were both acquitted of all 15 charges on June by a San Francisco jury. Following Chamberlain's death, his attorney Lichtenberg described him as a courageous man with unparalleled integrity. We deeply miss him, Lichtenberg said, according to the BBC. Steve fought successfully to clear his good name at trial earlier this year, and his good name now lives on through his wonderful family. Lynch remains missing along with his daughter Hannah and 4 others after the yacht they were aboard sank off the coast of Sicily on Monday, August 19th, following a serious storm, people previously reported. The Italian Coast Guard said in a statement obtained by people that the Bayesian, I guess it's called Bayesian, a 183-foot yacht flying the UK flag, sank near Porticello around 5 a.m. local time on Monday after a violent storm. In quotations, they got it. 22 people were on the vessel at the time, including 10 crew and 12 passengers, authorities said. Lynch's wife, Angela Baccaris, was among the 15 people rescued, people reported. 6 additional people, including 2 Americans and 4 British citizens, remain missing, the Coast Guard and local sources said. Okay. Well, they actually found those people dead. I mean, I'm reading the story that came out around the time they went missing. A spokesperson for Sicily's Civil Protection Agency, Francesca Venuto, Francesco Venuto, previously told the BBC that authorities believe the missing are trapped in the yacht. We've been searching all day with helicopters and boats. We found nothing, said Veneto, excuse me. That wouldn't make sense. In these conditions, we should have found something by now. They found them. And you think that's a coincidence? They beat this major trial in June and they're dead in August? That's a coincidence? Y'all think, oh man, things just happen. He happened, him and his daughter dead, his business partner dead. So what died with these men? What did they know? It just beat a case. They won, and yet they dead. It's like, Kobe was due in court about a trademark trial about a company wanting to use the Black Mamba for their line of pharmaceuticals, and Kobe was contesting their right to use the Black Mamba trademark. He was due in court that week when he got killed in the helicopter on that Sunday. It was during the day the Grammys came on that night. They shot Trump. They tried to shoot at Trump, or they shot at Trump at the golf course the same day as the Emmys. You can't tell me these ain't blood sacrifice. Both these guys were entertainers in a life. In the previous life, they both were entertainers, right? Both celebrities and icons in their own right. They got Kobe the same night of the same day as the Grammys with his daughter. They try to get Trump on the day of the Emmys. He had one of the most successful TV shows of all time, reality TV shows, The Apprentice. I mean, I don't believe in like weather. All of a sudden, this tornado, this water sprout came from nowhere to hit this super yacht. This is like from the Wolf of Wall Street, right? Look at the movie. The Wolf is based on a true story. The Wolf of Wall Street. Once again, brilliantly done by Scorsese, and Leonardo DiCaprio played the lead. But that's what happened. But when I was at Dick Gregory's homegoing, I met Secretary of Defense William Cohen. See if I can find that. Let y'all understand what's going on. See, they don't talk about it. So much stuff they don't talk about. Like, why did they like think about that Malaysian flight that went missing back in 2013? There was some very important people on that flight. They never found out what happened. Dick was adamant that they were taken to a base in Madagascar that we control, like a military base in Madagascar that we control. Dick kept on telling me. I don't know, man. Dick but the fact that the Secretary of Defense for Bill Clinton would show up to Dick Gregory's homegoing, Dick knew stuff. He had access to stuff that a lot of us don't have access to, including people like that on those high. I mean, they respect him. You listen to all the stuff that Bill, he said about Bill Clinton, because Dick Gregory was given the autopsy photos of Ron Brown by military forensic people. They lost their jobs, or they got blackballed. They lost benefits because they tried to help Dick Gregory. This is before the Monica Lewinsky thing, and Dick Gregory was on their heads about what happened to Ron Brown, the former Secretary of Commerce under Bill Clinton in the Clinton administration. I'm just trying to find that that post I did. They won't let me find it. But William Cohen was the defense secretary for Bill Clinton. And he talked about how they had weapons. They could weaponize the weather back in 95 or the 90s. They had access. Think about HAARP controlling the weather and stuff like that. So, okay, I found it. I'm about to share the screen. I can share it. This is We All Be. I'm about to shut it down. I made a promise I'll give y'all at least 2 hours. Try to do it every day by any means necessary. But let me just share this. I think I'll close it out. Read. Okay. Yeah, can I see that? That's me with I thought he was Jerry West at first. He looked like Jerry West, the famous basketball player, the logo, Mr. NBA logo, Jerry West. I thought that was Jerry West. He said, oh, and I said, no, you William Cohen. He said, yes. I said, I can take it. This is at Baba Dick Gregory's homegoing in Maryland back in September 2017. And so that's me with him. And also I was sharing right here, excuse me. This is what he said in a speech. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm going to read it. He said, others are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism, whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Let me read it. As Secretary of Defense William Cohen, talking about geophysical warfare. He said, others are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism, whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Think HAARP. You remember what happened to Haiti on Obama's watch? And the Clinton Foundation came in. Well, there was an earthquake or something like that. No, I didn't. No, I heard because Haiti had a lot of resources and minerals and stuff like that in Haiti. And they set that earthquake off. What was that earthquake? Y'all remember that? So imagine what they got now. This is what he was saying back in the 90s. Imagine what they have in store for us now. People get ready, folks, man. This like, playtime is over. That's me. William Cone. He actually married to a black woman, which is interesting. But they wrote a book together, I think. But he up there in age, but that's him. He said what he said. He said that others are engaging even in an eco type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Secretary of Defense William Cohen. So this is where we at, people. Because they've been having a hop around. They've been making people disappear. But I think there was the Haitian earthquake. Read that. Remove that. I'm about to shut it down. Well, that Haiti. What year was that? The Haitian earthquake. So I like these smartphones when you use them for actually good, but we use them for evil. That's a different story. Oh, yeah, it was 2010. It was 2010. It happened January 12th, 2010. So magnitude 7.0. But they probably had to happen because think about the Clinton Foundation is down in Haiti. UN. I mean, we don't have no friends, right? Excuse me. But like I said, the billionaire get killed the way he got killed. They just beat that trial. Then not only did he get killed, but his business partner got killed a couple of days before him and his daughter got killed on the super yacht. You don't think they had a weapon to cause that so-called water sprout or tornado that happened off the coast of Sicily just to take them out? Why nobody else was affected? Why was on the super yacht they got taken out like that? Nobody else in the harbor on the vicinity was affected. See what I'm saying? I mean, I don't, Trump, God bless Trump. God got Trump covered because the Secret Service so don't have his back. They hate Trump because God loves Trump and God is trying to give us a chance. Trump is bringing in something like I told Dick Gregory would talk about. People always use Dick Gregory about Trump. I voted for Trump when Dick Gregory was alive. And we talked about the election the day after. He said he couldn't believe it. I said, yeah, it's a different time. But anyway, it's pray for the country, man. Pray for because if something happened to Trump before the election, there won't be an election. You know that there would not be an election. Like Dick Gregory talked about this back in 2016. Thing with Dick Gregory, he was always early. He was out, and it was like he was not willing to play it safe when everybody else wanted to play it safe. But we may not have an election. It may be martial law because I don't think that the country is going to tolerate whatever happened in 2020. It can't happen in 2024. If you want to see an insurrection, hopefully, God, please don't let nothing happen to Trump. Because the people, I don't think this country can last 4 more years of what's going on now. And people got to ask themselves a question. If the U.S. military industry complex don't like Trump, if the neocons don't like Trump, why do you hate Trump? If the powerful people don't like him, they don't want him in the country club, why do you hate him? Dave Chappelle had the perfect summation of Trump to me. He said, Trump is an honest liar. He'll tell you the game is rigged. He also lets you know I'm benefited from the rigged game. But he see the game has been rigged. See, he filed 6 bankruptcies. It wasn't personal bankruptcies. It was to cover his business, reorganize his business. 50 Cent, another dude from Queens, filed bankruptcy to protect his interests after lawsuits and stuff like that. He said, my family never went starving. Look how look at the Trump family. His kids turn out pretty well, whatever you think about him on social media. But Barron might be the Michael Corleone of the Trump family. Because people look at Barron, because even Mike Tyson said he's very intelligent. Because Barron ain't in the spotlight like the other sons, and Ivanka did her thing with Jared, her husband, I guess. But Barron is the Michael Cohen. I mean, not Michael Corleone. Excuse me, that's an insult. It's like Benedict Arnold. They call him Michael Cohen. But I believe Trump is a time traveler. I believe Trump knows things. And he's a threat to these people because he's there to drain the swamp. Because y'all forget, like people say, it was like only a small group of people endorsed him from his previous administration. Look at the swamp creatures he was dealing with. He was dealing with John Bolton. He's a war hawk. William Barr was his attorney general. His father was a part of the Office of Strategic Services and the CIA man. And also his father gave Jeffrey Epstein, yes, that Jeffrey Epstein, a job at the prestigious Dalton School up in New York. His father wrote a novel about a man that kind of sounded like Jeffrey Epstein, I believe, back in the 80s. And I just want to touch on these are the people that Trump had in his administration, the folks that he needed around him that got rid of, like Mike Flynn would have been a great influence over Trump's administration as far as the geopolitical side. They got rid of Mike Flynn. They set him up. So like even how they doing Steve Bannon, the folks that like, Trump was dealing with the swamp creatures with a team of rivals that wanted to see his demise in his first term, and he survived his first term. Even with the pandemic, the mail-in voting fraud stuff, he know he won. The people know he won. He's the people's president. To me, he's Jack Johnson reincarnated, but that's another story. But I talked about that in one of my legendary podcast that I'm gonna re-upload for We All Be TV2 and rumble.com. We All Be TV / We All Be TV. Thank y'all so much for your time, for your investment. Like I said, hopefully I said something in this stuff, all this mumbo jumbo, that you could go investigate further for yourself. Yeah, like it was interesting because I say he financed Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign before Jesse got presidential Secret Service treatment, before he got the Secret Service involved. The people that were protecting Jesse Jackson was the Nation of Islam, the Fruit of Islam. And I think, yeah, he'd be better off getting his own security because they failing. Because people say, well, they saved him. No, it's not that the people on the ground, it's not his actual detail that failed him. It's the people in leadership of the Secret Service that failed him, because the Secret Service should have been abolished November 23rd, 1963. The Secret Service should have got abolished and defunded and defunct November 23rd, 1963. Abraham Lincoln created the Secret Service the last day he was living on the planet. Or not the last day, because he struggled on. Let me say, the day that Lincoln got shot, the night that Lincoln got shot, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, he created the Secret Service. And he had no protection when he got shot by John Wilkes Booth, who was a part of the Democratic Party as far as I'm concerned, because Democrats helped create the Civil War. They started the Civil War. Yeah, there's a book about Barron Trump, the time travel. I'm sure that somebody probably got a PDF online somewhere. I'm sure you could find it online somewhere. 'Cause I know it probably costs a lot of money, the actual book. But it talks about a person named Barron Trump. It was a time traveler. This came out in the early 20th century, like the first decade of 20th century. Y'all can look that up. It's good stuff to know. Yeah, shout out to Patrick Bet David, Value Taming. He got some good stuff. Yeah, but everybody who meets him, like Mike Tyson said some great things about Trump, or Barron Trump. He's impressive. So it's like you can't believe all the media hype and span. No nominee, no elections, absolutely undemocratic. Well, we're not living in a democracy. We're in a constitutional republic. That's the lie they told us. We are in a constitutional republic. And we're really still part of the Roman Empire. You think about the three financial districts of the world, or three cities. You got Vatican City, you got London, and you got Washington, D.C. That's the three-headed monster. Washington, D.C., London, and the Vatican City. Y'all can look that up, deep sea diving. Thank you for receiving. And you said Wilbur Ross was Commerce Secretary of Rothschild's banker. I mean, think about that book that The Secrets of the Federal Reserve. That's online. You get that as a PDF. Secrets. Read the Secrets of the Federal Reserve. They talk about how they created the Federal Reserve on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. Rothschild, all the top banking people, the politicians, they basically made Woodrow Wilson a deal. Become president, you got to make the Federal Reserve a real deal. And that's what he did. He sold his soul to help create the Federal Reserve and also the IRS. That happened on so-called Mr. Progressive Woodrow Wilson's watch. Said, please register to vote, especially if you have moved homes in the past 3 years. We need the JT. Thank God I live in the red state of Tennessee. My vote will count towards that purpose. Appreciate that. So I'm about to wrap it up, folks. Any genes necessary? Okay. Heart, yeah. Look up heart. That's an interesting thing to look up. But they probably got something way more stronger and effective than heart. You know, back in the 1950s, they had heart attack guns. If you can't control the weather, you can't control the world. Yes, indeed. That's what they do. They had heart attack guns. You know, you had people testifying that they were using sound waves to kill people. And when they died, people thought it was a heart attack. They had a natural heart attack, but it was actually caused by sound waves. So look up heart attack gun online. Okay, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being patient and for rocking with your brother Heard. What's the word with brother Heard? Like I said, support the movement. Cash out your support, $R2C2H2. PayPal, Zelle your support, R2C2H2 at gmail.com. You can Vimo at R2C2H2. Apple Cash 901-299-4355 or join us on the patreon.com/we all be. Let's see what else. What else I want to put out there? I think that's it. Thank y'all once again. I really appreciate this. This is awesome. Oh yeah, you know, you want to show your support another way. Could mail your donation in. Attention, Ronald Heard II. Make it out to the We All Be Group Incorporated. That's P.O. Box 752062, Memphis, Tennessee 38175. Once again, attention, Ronald Heard II. The We All Be Group Incorporated, P.O. Box 752062, Memphis, Tennessee 38175. And remember that your donation is tax deductible. And I think that's it. You know, also you could support Art of His Art. You could wear my art. Go to our official Teespring, R2C2H2 place. You see yeah. Get that. Take that. Y'all said Diddy got arrested. Say that for another show. Y'all take care. God bless. And may you keep on producing and pushing. Thank you all for listening. Take your time. We love you madly, family. One love.